So let's set up a special price for a few items. So let's say this item and this item. Okay. And what we have here is if it's simply that we just charge, I don't know, £100, yeah, for each one of those, that's it, done. Okay. But if we wanted to do a bit more detail than that, we can actually drill down here and we can actually see that we could then do special pricing for each type of unit of measure. So it may be that for dozens we do a better price than we do for each. Yeah. So if I look at quantity breaks, I can say, right, if we sell one each to 100, okay, we do them for £100. Okay, but if we do 101, if they buy 101 to 200, then we do them for £99. Yeah, and above that we'll do them for 98. Okay, but it may be that if I haven't set up any quantity breaks on the dozens, okay, then if I sell 1 dozen, it would look at the default unit of measure to go and get, and it would price them at £1,200. But if I start putting some minimums and maximums and some prices in this dozen unit of measure, then it would use that when I use that unit of measure. So this can be as easy or as complicated as you want it to be. Okay, so if it's just a straight price, that the special price that they pay, put it in there. But if you actually want to kind of then make it more complicated and do it by unit of measure, then obviously that's when you click this and then start entering them on. Because pricing is a very complicated thing in a lot of systems, yeah, and this is essentially a very easy way to do it. The price lists, the price list setup is actually in the inventory module, yeah, and works on a very, very similar basis. And we'll come to that when we actually look at the inventory module. Okay, we also have a tab here for customer part codes. Okay, so what this means is if I pick these items here, we can actually specify the customer item code and the customer description. So when we produce their order acknowledgement or their invoice or whatever, we can actually put their part code and their description on it. And later on, this will be used for EDI when we actually want to pull in orders directly from their system. So we know what their stock codes and descriptions are, so we can automatically pull the order in and send them the invoice back out that way electronically. Okay, we also have an analysis tab. Okay, so we can see here the monthly trading, profit, sales, returns, the turnover, and we can also see the transactions here for any particular month. We also have a transactions tab. Okay, so let me just expand this out a little bit. We can see all the quotes. Yeah, open is just the outstanding ones. Closed is obviously the ones that maybe have been converted to an orders or cancelled, or all is just them all. We've got orders, invoices, returns, credit notes, receipts, refunds, and we also got a ledger view. So a ledger view allows us to see all the invoices, all the receipts, all the refunds, and all the credit notes, etc. Okay, so there's our invoice. We've got a receipt on there as well. So if we look at this invoice here, we can see we've got an invoice type, the document date, the due date, the customer order number, the order it was linked to if there was one, the total amount, the base amount, the outstanding amount. Now, the base outstanding amount, was there any settlement discount taken? Are there any attachments? Is it in dispute? So if I tick that box and sort of write a book, yeah, then basically I can say I can keep that with it. Now, this receipt here has got 0 outstanding. So if I double click on that, it will actually give me the allocations that have taken place against that receipt. So I can see that receipt number 6 for £1,000 was allocated against this invoice, and obviously left 525 outstanding. Okay, I can also drill down on the actual invoice to see the original invoice details, and I can also obviously drill down the original receipt to see what details were on there as well. If there's no cross against the actual attachment, yeah, when I click that, what it's telling me is there are some attachments behind, yeah, that particular invoice. So it could be that you scan in your delivery notes and then you want to attach them to the invoice, so you've actually got a hard copy record in the database, and obviously all you do is just kind of click on that and it opens it up. And you can add as many different attachments, whether it's spreadsheets, images, whatever, against that particular individual invoice. And you can do it this way, yeah, or we actually have an attached document routine, so you can actually do it against multiple invoices at once, or multiple delivery notes or whatever. Okay, you can also sort on the columns, So, you've got sorting, you've got grouping. This is standard everywhere. So if I group by box and say I want to do it by type, it then splits them out by invoice, by receipts or whatever. Or you can do it by date, whatever. Okay, so let's look at recent sales, the recent sales tab. Okay, this lists all the items, yeah, that they ever bought. This customer's ever bought from us, and it shows that they bought one on this occasion at this sales price. That was the cost price. That was the margin. Okay, we're obviously selling stuff there at a loss, but never mind. The table down here, okay, is a bit like the Amazon cross-sell, upsell sort of situation. What it's saying is people that buy that item also buy these items, yeah, and they're not buying them. So why don't you ask them about it? Okay. And we also have a buying history. Okay, so what this tells me is that people's buying patterns are changing. So what it does, it looks at the last 24 months history for each item, and it says, right, is there a difference? Okay, so has it changed? So if they used to order 100 a month, yeah, and suddenly they order 50 or they order 0, yeah, it'll be in red. Yeah, if they actually order 30% less than they usually did, then it'll be amber. But and obviously if it's similar, yeah, then basically it'll be green. Okay, so what it's doing is it's flagging you up to say you better ask them, okay, about this item here, these items, yeah, because these are all flagged as red because they're either not buying them anymore, which is fine, but if they're not but if they are buying them, if they are still buying them, then they're not buying them off you. So you need to find out why, what's gone wrong, and how can you get the business back? Okay, we also have a credit tab. Okay, so what this does is this tells us how much they owe us, yeah, and allows us to kind of effectively chase the debt. Okay, so we've got 2 invoices outstanding. If there are credit notes or receipts outstanding, those will be here as well. I can see that there's some sort of dispute on here. Well, we actually entered that in our transaction list earlier. I can see there's the amount of money. Now this is done by due date, but you can do it by document date or due date. If you do it by document date, it just switches the columns, yeah, to future, current, yeah. But obviously due date's very good because if you've got different terms to different customers, and even different terms on different invoices for the same customer, then due date, obviously not due means it's not due. 1 to 7 days overdue means it's up to 7 days overdue, 14 days overdue. And you can change the brackets as well to actually be whatever kind of space you want. If this is a foreign currency customer, we could switch it to home or customer currency as well. Okay, so let's say that, we're talking to the customer. He says, yeah, invoice number 14 and 15. I don't seem to have a copy of those. Yeah, could you send me a copy? So if I click on send copy invoices after ticking them, okay, it launches our normal sort of print dialog, and instead of just printing them, yeah, I'm actually going to say, right, email them. Yeah, and you can see it automatically puts the email address of this particular customer and contact in. Or what you could do is you could just do lowest cost route. Okay, and the lowest cost route, what this is all about is if they have an email address, it will use it. If they haven't got an email address, yeah, then it'll look for a fax number. If they haven't got a fax number, yeah, then obviously they're going to print it off. Okay, so what it's doing is the email is obviously no cost if you've got an ADSL line because it's just going to use it. Fax is obviously sub 10p per page, and obviously lowest cost route looks to try and minimize the cost of you actually sending that document to them or those documents. So if I just print preview it, okay, you can actually see that it'll just copy those 2 invoices in a nice preview kind of screen. All the printing is actually set up the same way. Okay, so essentially, whether you're printing a statement run of 200, that same print dialog comes up. Yeah, so you've got all the same options, that you actually have whatever documents you're printing. All right, and he also says, right, I promise to pay you by the end of the month. Okay, so if I put in here the 31st, it'll tag both of those records because I've got them ticked as promised to pay on those dates. It's just a nice way of chasing, and obviously you've got the things so that you can add some notes here specifically to do the debt chasing. We also have as many delivery addresses as you want. But instead of just having a delivery address with a tax code or whatever, we have, because all these are reusable components, as it were, from a programming point of view, that means no effort, okay? It means that for every delivery address, we don't just have the delivery address, but we can also have contacts, notes, activities, emails to do with just that particular delivery address.